We are in the field of sustainability now, and our keynote is on the future of data centers, innovation and impact, sustainability and AI. And I'm delighted to welcome my guest. That is Susanna Kass, co-founder InfraPrime, Energy Fellow at Stanford University. Susanna, save me. How are you?
Thank you for having me today. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. You're very welcome indeed. Lovely to see you again. And you're staying with us this afternoon a bit further for a further fireside chat where you're actually going to be hosting that for me, which I'm very grateful for. But Susanna, for now, the keynote and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning for those of you who are actually in the North American region, and also good evening for some of you who might be dialing in from Asia Pacific. So thank you again for hosting this platform for us today and the conference. So without further ado, I want to dive into one of the topics that I think might be on everyone's mind in terms of what is the future of data centers going to look like. So the two key things that we need to look out for in the future of data center is really impact and continuous innovation. As we all have seen, for example, one of the disruptive, powerful technology called artificial intelligence or AI. Over the past decades, we have seen numerous technology that have improved energy efficiency or usage conservation throughout the data center. Well, I will not be talking to you about individually those technology. What I'm actually going to discuss with you in this session today is the future of data center, which we actually call Horizon 2, compared to currently what we are building today or operating today, which is called Horizon 1 in data center term. What we need for Horizon 2, the future of data center, is to create sustainable systems that need to integrate and work together, and what I'm going to be focusing on in the intersectionality of the technology of how each of them going to work together to create climate positive impact. The UN Sustainable Development Goal is an excellent blueprint to guide us through the architecture of the sustainable system. It is my desire today to bring to you some of the background knowledge that we have been thinking about, and I welcome you to connect, and I welcome all of you to collaborate, as no one can actually do it all alone in designing the future of data center. So let me share with you a few accolades that I have learned from my colleagues. The first one is, welcome to the world of the future of data center. We are very excited that some of the women are now working in the data center field, even though it's a male-dominated industry. For 32 years I've been in, but it is fantastic to actually have diverse view. And it is not replacing a man with a woman, not at all. It's really about having more an inclusive mindset, then we can have a diverse thinking as we look at impact and also design new innovation. Studies have proven, I got many I can share with you for some of them interested, to show organizations and teams and projects a lot more productive and in performance, and also from a holistic thinking if you actually have a homogeneous pool. So I welcome you all to actually invite young talent and women into your design in the future of data center. That is one of the background in terms of having impact and innovation. Continuously, data center need to be more sustainable. Compared to, I would say, many years ago, decades ago, when I started in this industry, we weren't even called data center. It was basically called IT lab, because that's effectively what we have, is servers in a rack of computer room or look like a warehouse. Now we're actually looking a lot more sustainable, and I can not be more proud to be able to join by many leaders, not only the one that is basically listed here, but everyone that's actually thinks sustainable. Specifically, one of the key things that I have learned by working with many of the sustainable leaders is actually driving impact. This good thing about having an ambition, it's very excellent to have goals, but without execution and results, it's really hard to quantify whether the ideas really work. So I encourage you all to try it, and this is the session of today, is driving results in addition to having great ambition and be bold in leading the true north of where you all going to take us as well in this journey. And we are all in this together. We are genuinely all better together, which is why we're gathering today at this event. Okay, so let's go into a little bit more specific. Net zero data center means zero in terms of carbon usage, emission. And what I'm specifically talking about Horizon 2 is our mission would be 24/7 on-prem with no offset, which is not what I meant today in data center, that you are maybe buying some procurement contract in renewable energy, which is great, but you're actually using dirty. Or some articles came out that some of the electrical vehicle infrastructure is actually having a diesel plant behind it in terms of providing the charge with dirty fuel. In the future of data center, we simultaneously accelerate and we also promote a carbon-free future. This approach requires a rethinking from a systems perspective in design thinking. And this is how we actually need to make a change sustainably using the UN SDG goal number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And we have to do it all together. The basis of the future of the data center is we need to examine the resource usage effectiveness. Energy is talked about most, but it also includes water and land and connectivity. It also needs to think about, and I will show you some illustration at the end, about how it coexists with the society in terms of doing urban design. No longer the future of data center are just in the middle of nowhere where there's only cows around. We need to build a data center, especially with a lot of the AI and able technology, to bring it close where the eyeballs are, where the humans are actually living. And we still need to maintain inherently the resilience of 24/7, 365, because you as a user, you as a customer will not allow us to have a degradation of the performance or downtime. So hence, the future of the data center design framework lays using the UN SDG goal and look at that from a circular economy. I wrote a white paper regarding the circular economy of data center life cycle at the beginning of the decade, or actually last year. I went in and go into a lot more detail relating a specific white paper and how we're actually going to measure it from the design, site selection, building, operation, maintenance, but more importantly, when we decommissioned old data center or we build new one. And it has to coexist with all the resources that we extract from the environment with care, with dignity, and how we're actually going to transport many of the materials or the usage of the data center around the world. And what do we do with the waste that we actually come up with, including the operating waste such as the heat, some of the water, and more importantly, some of the electronics, or we need to decommission the entire building. So effectively, it's a circular concept. So one of the key goals of what we're trying to do in the future of data center is be responsible and frankly, just use common sense. You know, you don't want to kind of have the waste to go to the landfill. You also definitely don't want to have emission goes out to the environment because you know it's bad. So we need to start thinking about how we can reuse, recycled, and then more specifically, it does require a rethinking, including even the materials of the usage. So perhaps we do not use the steel and the concrete that we do anymore because we have the embodied carbon. So I want to talk about that. And also the approach, how we actually do construction should be sustainable from an end-to-end perspective, from extracting the resources to the production and the manufacturing through the transportation of all the different supply chain, And it is exciting for a huge consumer company announced it just recently that they have now net zero product that you can wear on your wrist. And this is just the beginning of how the future of data center is going to happen, is zero emission and promoting a carbon-free future. In addition, I want to give you some examples about how we can actually use AI to optimize resilience that we need, which is 24/7, 365 to give you the ultimate best user experience that you can from your application when you're interacting with the internet, when you're interacting with any resources in the cloud. But simultaneously throughout the life cycle, we minimize and reduce any environmental impact by encouraging resource usage effectiveness. There's a lot of market uncertainty that we all felt last year, but the positive news of it all is really exciting. Over 64.5 gigawatt of renewable energy actually were procured. And majority of them is actually not just data center, it's actually enterprise company who's also joining the momentum that we had in New York at the Climate Week. So I think it is important that we all need to move towards a carbon-free economy. What is your sustainability goal? It actually starts with the individual. It needs to start with the ambition and on what you're going to want it to be. Are you going to continue to buy and vote with your buying power for companies that did not align with your sustainability goal? Just think about it for a second. Individual actually has tremendous amount of power in terms of helping to drive the carbon-free economy. It's never somebody else's problem that only the data center people and the cloud providers are the ones cheering for a carbon-free economy. It actually starts with you. Not surprisingly, many of us have actually seen and interact with AI or generative AI. No longer do we actually need the humans to actually even compose a wedding vows anymore or think about how we actually do the wedding planning. So I want to kind of give you a script on an AI, very simple, that is text-based. The multimodal is also available in terms of everything you see about once upon a time can speak to you in 101 languages in 2 seconds. Through the use of AI, in order to build many effective solutions, researchers need a solid understanding of the challenges that's faced by people. AI is not a technological innovation issue. It is extremely powerful from a technology perspective because it gets access to data that is representative of the problem in the LLM, which is the large volume data set. And partnering with domain experts will make it even more reliable as a system. And if you follow the policy guideline on a regulatory structure, you will actually find real-world opportunity for testing this system and be able to make correlation that is meaningful to enrich your life, to help you to accelerate your productivity that no human mankind will be able to achieve in that speed. But more importantly, what I like to discuss with you is actually impact and innovation from an environmental perspective. Success in today's fast-paced business environment depends on agility, flexibility, and speed. And we want them all together in a more affordable manner. Hence, we need to modernize and automate data center infrastructure and the operation to achieve all three at affordable manner sustainably. So what is generative AI? It's a type of machine learning that is powered by these ultra-large models that basically work really hard in terms of large language model. Just think about yourself back in the college days that you basically study and read nonstop multimodal languages all the time without taking a break. This is actually how hard the AI data center are working. These models are pre-trained on a vast volume of data called the foundation models, and they're trained by experts. Generative AI is attempted to help improve our experiences as you as a user or as a customer, that you can interact with these virtual assistants. You can have intellectual conversation with them. You can try to actually get in and understand about the references, for example, that is so inclined to have. And you can also personalize your shopping. AI is a powerful technology. It is here to stay. So get used to it, embrace it, get on top of it, just like riding a wave. Study it, learn it, and get on top of it and understand how you are going to take advantage of it and how that technology is going to help you to transform your own journey going forward. Well, we are definitely doing that as we plan out the future of data center using AI. The effects of the climate change of the Earth's ecosystem are increasingly complex. And as a part of our efforts of using AI is solving one of the world's most challenging problems, we start with using AI to advance our understanding. Then we can use AI to optimize our existing system. And by using the large language model and inference set, we attempt to come up with breakthrough science of climate and effect. Understanding weather, climate, and effects are hard, very complex problem. And IPCC just came up with a report. For somebody who want to have a copy, please email the event organizer or connect with me, and I will share that with you about specifically the mitigation change reporting. Much of the climate data is really hard to understand in order for us to keep our temperature under 1.5 degrees. AI now enable us to look at it in 2 hours and in days, what we basically call nowcasting, not forecasting. We can actually optimize renewable energy system now in order to understand that. But one of the specific things Susanna also keeps track of is how much emission and energy is actually being consumed by each AI request. So when we start using AI to optimize the energy usage for the future of data center, we are into the realm of optimization. We need to identify the technological breakthrough, such as how we remove the heat from the high density rack, or actually from the chip. How do we transition into renewable, accelerating global transition? And by using AI, and one of the key technology company, Google, with DeepMind, that they have acquired, have proven consistently 20% more accuracy in terms of predicting, nowcasting, wind renewable development to matches the green signal that we need to do 24/7 carbon-free energy delivery on premise. This is absolutely a breakthrough. The other for the AI rim of the future of the data center also include other technology from a sustainable systems perspective. So using CO2 as a thermal carrier to transport heat waves to provide the social benefit of district cooling and heating without using any water usage. Using hydrogen as a source of clean fuel over natural gas in combination of fuel cell system and using it with the renewable energy storage with hydrogen, not lithium ion, and no transportation is needed for the hydrogen fuel for EV and utility to share into the infrastructure with water as a byproduct is some of the thinking that we actually have doing right now outside the boundary of the data center into the environment that the data center is going to coexist with the human. Linear generator technological innovation allow for high expansion of reactive gas by controlling the conversion of linear motion directly into electricity that we can actually use reliably 24/7 with clean energy and no emission. AI system can further optimize this reaction energy output of clean fuel regardless of actually where the fuel type is going to be. Solving another challenge that is existing currently today in all energy power system, which is power loss. For us to push the boundary from 0 to 100% of generation equaled output, which is incredible what AI can actually contribute. In addition to that, the AI data center is actually very, very exciting. We recently do a test on the traditional benchmark and a workload. What used to take Susanna at eBay or HP or any hyperscale data center all night to basically do an update, it took us only 11 minutes to basically perform the same benchmark using NVIDIA H100 Tensor Core GPU. Incredible in terms of the impact and the speed that can be delivered today. No wonder the company is welcomed into a $1 trillion company cup by Wall Street Journal. Let's take a look at the architecture, and I'm going to go fairly quickly because I want to save the time for the next panel that we're going to do it together with a hyperscaler. As our decade continues to unfold, we see numerous companies affirming the commitment. We need to look at the future of data center as circular. So you have all the renewable energy in the data center, but at the same time, we need to take advantage of coexisting and synchronizing with outside the boundary. For example, the hydrogen, the clean fuel, and many of those resources in terms of delivering the heat waves can be all synchronized in terms of a network, circular network. And like I said, CO2 is not an evil thing. It is okay, except we just don't want you to emit it in the environment. If we can reuse it as a thermal carrier, this is extremely positive to achieve zero carbon, zero emission, because we're reusing them for the future of data center, and we're using AI as an accelerator from a technology perspective to optimize the different resource usage. So this is some example that I want to give, and I want to leave you with one thought today. Instead of using dirty and then going out there and still do a great job in terms of procuring renewable energy resources and do a promoter and a detractor, and then you come up with a net zero, right? Okay, so you use effectively how much dirty on a daily basis and whatnot because the grid is not completely green at the moment. I got that. However, it is more sustainable in the future that we actually do absolute zero on-prem. For every kilowatt hour, we have the technology now today to basically do edge configuration or hyperscale. And most of the absolute design concept also include operational carbon and also embodied carbon. So think about the different materials in that regard. We have written many white paper, and we are actually building the data center. In addition at all, think about a data center of the future is something that you would welcome into your community because you can't even find them. The heat waves already and from the data center is providing you comfort in terms of cooling and heating. The water usage is actually safe for you to use as a consumer, not by the data center. The energy and the clean energy that is created by the data center is actually enable you to also use clean energy at your home, at your office, while you're actually watching the next live conference. If you have a good eye, you will be able to actually see that we are building the data center that you cannot find it. That is actually part of our goal. So for AI, absolutely is an important technology. We need to protect it. We need to respect it in terms of use from a human dignity perspective. But in terms of from a scientist point of view, who I am, as a computer scientist, and my domain is actually technology. If you look at it from both of the lens, it is an amazing, powerful technology that can accelerate and disrupt with innovation for net zero and absolute zero. So join me in this journey. Any information I share over here is backed up by white paper and also projects proof. And we very much like to welcome you to connect, to collaborate, which is why we're all here. So thank you very much, and I hope this has been helpful and informational for you. Thank you.
Susanna, thank you very much indeed. Some real insight there as ever.